Hi, I'm Tim Zacharias with Cougar USA and your host of Building Value. Today, my guest on the show is Rich Gussert with Grundfos. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about Rich's background a little bit, and we're also going to go into the U.S. Tech Center for Grundfos that's based out of here in Brookshire, Texas, and how that Tech Center leverages Grundfos' resources all over the world. On Building Value, we go behind the scenes at some of the most iconic buildings in Texas to showcase the incredible people that design, build, and maintain them, and their impact on the community. Grundfos is really global company, and we do have that. Do have that significant presence here in the U.S. How have you been able to interact with colleagues over in Denmark and the rest of the world with Grundfos?
Yeah, I would say Grundfos is an interesting company in that though it's 19,000-ish employees, still carries very much the family feel of the Janssen family, and with that, a lot still kind of happens face to face and based on relationships, and so I really have developed quite an elaborate network, especially since I've been in different areas of the business within Grundfos. So for those first years, developed strong relationships with those folks in the operations side of the business all around. But then as I took on the higher leadership role, ended up playing in other areas and getting to know a lot of folks in the business development side of things, of course in sales leadership and so forth, because our board members, our board leader generally came out of the sales organization because that's how we were classified as a local entity. Now, a lot of those connections certainly help me as I work back on the more technical side of the business. We have a pretty elaborate network now within that technical organization as well.
So it's a perfect transition, and talking about the new America's Tech Center, and I know that that some of what you're working on, or maybe a lot of what you're working on, is proprietary and things that are coming up later. And so, in my mind, kind of thinking like Q and MI6, working on some of the cool stuff in the lab. So, having said that, what is the Tech Center, and what do you guys? What's the objective?
Okay. Yeah, great. So, I guess I'll start a little further back.
Sure.
In that, this North American region, which is what it was now, it's the Americas region, North and South, went through a series of acquisitions as a result of some strategic decisions that were made, 14, 15 years ago. The acquisition started in 2006, and this PACO business that I was a part of was part of that. So we had several acquisitions that then were integrated into Grundfos, but the engineering teams within those had a long history of supporting those legacy products. But we realized that we were missing an opportunity to share more across. We knew each other, we were friends, we helped each other out some, but we felt there was an opportunity to do more and have some synergies associated with actually organizing and working together. So we pulled some of the folks from those areas and we created a regional team. And we started working together on a variety of projects around particularly those products. But in 2017, partly as a result of our 2020 Grundfos strategy, which had the U.S. smack dab in the middle of the growth strategy, basically, we decided we needed more. We needed to do some of the improvements and the new product offerings that we're doing faster. But also we wanted to prepare ourselves for a bigger future. So that was when we decided to create this U.S. Tech Center. And it's modeled a little bit after a tech center that we also created in China. It's a little different, but similar concept, where we have a group of engineers that are now capable of using all of the high-powered tools and methods, have the skills basically that we have in our bigger group, where we have hundreds literally of engineers working on product development, but focused on things for this country, this region. We wanted to grow. Some of the challenges of being a large global company is there are a lot of people fighting for what they need. Since the U.S. wasn't the biggest part of the business, at times we didn't get the priority that we needed. Excuse me. So the Tech Center was kind of planted and formed to raise our innovation height in this region, to accelerate our ability to respond to our customers' needs and the needs of the sales force in this region in order to grow our business. So we started with a few. In fact, we used expatriation from our group resources as a way to quickly infuse the knowledge, build some immediate competence and capability, and then we're hiring locally as the sustainable tech center. So we'll continue to have some expats basically that come and go, keep us really connected from a methodology perspective, from a relationship perspective with the mothership, if you want to call it that. But you know, for the most part, the intent is that this will be a sustainable entity of its own.
And when you're referring to group, that's the corporate level of Grundfos in.
Yes. So that's
in Denmark, correct. And
so we call it the Grundfos group of companies.
Gotcha.
So internally, we use that term group, and it might be what most people would call corporate, if you will.
No, I've heard it enough at this point that I know what you're referring to. So, and you know, I think it's really unique to Grundfos that 5% of that top line revenue goes to the research and development, and so that is the resources that you're talking about from group, from corporate, that you're able to now tap into and be able to focus those here to the U.S. on products or applications that we may need specifically here that may differ from other parts of the world. Right. That's awesome. So I know a lot of what you're working on is maybe confidential or some company secrets, but is there anything that you can share with us that you guys are working on? Yeah,
sure, absolutely. I can talk a little bit in the rearview mirror because these are things that are out in public. So I mentioned earlier that we've developed similar skill and competency level to our experts in Denmark. Of course, some of the folks there have been doing this for a long time, and they've created the methods that we're using.
Yes.
But the way it works allows us to do some special things. So, as an example, with our Peerless Fire line, over the course of a year and a half or so, we did some really strong hydraulic design work that has placed their split case, especially line, in the forefront in terms of energy efficient fire pump products. And that plays out as well in terms of reducing capital costs because motor sizes are smaller and those types of things. So these are truly world-class hydraulics now, industry leading, and much of that work was done right here. Of course, we collaborated across multiple continents and so forth. So that's a project that we finished up earlier in 2019. In terms of our higher level innovation projects and that type of thing, you're right. I can't really talk about those right now. But there's one big thing that everybody in the industry is working on in the U.S. and that's our compliance to the Department of Energy. So this has been a multi-year road, and we're reaching the end of that road pretty darn soon.
In the next couple of weeks.
Yep, in a couple of weeks we go live. But that's an area that we've used our team to spend a significant amount of time. The great thing is Grundfos as a whole, and including the Paco product line, which is a part of that Grundfos family, have been pretty high in efficiency, industry-leading efficiencies. So we've had to do very little redesign of the products, but the process of validating our compliance that has required literally thousands of hours of testing across this broad array of products, and again that's done on in this case 2 continents. But we've been while we've had work being done around the world, our tech center here has been the primary driver of all of that activity. And we're just wrapping things up, and we'll have a busy couple weeks yet ahead of us just to make sure we're 100% ready, going through trials of various systems and so forth that come into play. But that has been something where we've spent a significant amount of time in these last couple of years as well.
And I mean, that's extremely important. I mean, and it's only going to continue, right? I mean, this is the first phase, covers, potentially, I say limited scope, but it's not every pump. It is
Correct.
certain lines, and just talking with Adam, even though it is a limited number of types of pumps, the sizes that they're talking about actually does cover a lot of what's going to be used for us in the commercial building. So to know that you guys have put in this level of effort to making sure that all of the Grundfos product that we're going to be providing to our customers is either compliant or even potentially exceeding some of the requirements is great to know.
Yep. Yeah, and it's it has been a challenging road. I'm not sure that many who aren't in the middle of it understand the amount of effort it takes in order to do the testing, but also then to maintain, to create the data repositories and the systems by which the data finds its way into the pump labeling, and it goes on and on.
Yeah,
so
it definitely has kind of
a
ripple effect.
Yeah, it's an enterprise-wide initiative basically that's been led out of our tech center. Yeah.
It's awesome to have that resource here, and to know that y'all are, like I said, putting in that effort to make sure that what's coming down the road for our customers is going to be compliant, and they can be comfortable knowing that they have the best and most efficient
they can have full
pumps out there.
confidence.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, looking forward, at Brookshire here, not far from where we're sitting now, is going to be this amazing new Grundfos headquarters building for the Americas. How is that going to? What role is the tech center going to play in that, or what is that going to allow you to do?
Yeah, so the tech center, Houston wasn't by accident in terms of a placement, but interesting. The decision to place the tech center here was made before the decision to have the regional headquarters.
Okay.
So I like to think they're following us here, but I'm not sure that that's true. No, but actually, we chose Houston, partly because we evaluated a few sites where we already had a presence. Of course, we weren't looking to create a new greenfield site. But Houston made perfect sense for us. One, it was close to our business and a plant, and that was one of the things we focused on. There's a vibrant engineering community in the Houston area, so that also means there's engineering talent.
Yes.
At times we find ourselves competing with the oil and gas industry, but other times we find them, sending people our way because so. but it's worked great for us so far. We also have a number of very, very, very good engineering universities in the area.
Yep.
So
like
an
Texas
easy
A&M.
flow, Texas A&M, for example, yes. So an easy flow of talent out of the university system here as well. And then, you mentioned the headquarters, and that's really the question that I'm coming to answer. And it's just fantastic that we have this proximity to the key strategic business decisions and so forth. So we have the people that we need to talk to, the people that we need to collaborate with, the people that we need to be integral in our projects with us are right here in the same facility right now. And so as the new headquarters is built, we'll have our place in that building, but that'll be temporary because the longer term vision is as we grow, that we will create our own, basically our own tech center building with a attached laboratory and so forth. We've started building up some lab capabilities. We also use the lab facilities that are in the plant already for some of our work. But eventually we'll have a world-class lab that matches this world-class headquarters building and the actual standalone tech center that we're developing.
Very cool. And that the headquarters is also going to be a showcase piece for the technology for Grundfos. So the mechanical room is not even really a room, it's going to be a building, right? A whole to be able to showcase everything in the mechanical room, and then even parts of the building are going to be showing off some of the technology. So I think it's a great fit for the tech center to be here, like you said, and obviously Houston's a great city to be nearby, out here in Brookshire. So definitely seems like a perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place to interface with our own people, but also with customers. It'll be that headquarters building will be a busy center for customer activity as well, and that is something another reason why we have a tech center and why we don't just rely on our core engineering team in Denmark and China in order to develop these things. It's very specific to understanding the needs of the U.S. Customer base, understanding the applications as they exist here, as opposed to in Europe, for example, where sometimes things are done a little differently. So there's a reason why not only are we sitting in the U.S., but why we're sitting here specifically.
So that's all we have for today's episode. Rich, really appreciate you coming on.
We really appreciate you coming out. It's a great opportunity for us to talk about, in a future that's pretty exciting for us.